Shut it down! Milk USA! Shut it down! Milk USA! Shut it down! Milk USA! Shut it down! What we want to shut down is your capacity to produce death. We don't want to take away your jobs. We don't want to take your livelihood. We want you to produce something else that is not harming the people who are fleeing because of that violence that is generated by this weapons production.
So right now we're in front of Milcor, which is an arms producer. One of the products that they make is like grenade launchers, military level weaponry, right? And so why are we here and what does this mean to 67 Sueños? First and foremost, a lot of our students experience gun violence, right? And so the question is, where do those guns come from? Where do those weapons come from? It's not like there's arms manufacturer on Bancroft, you know? This is one of the places that these arms come from. So as part of 6-7, we're here denouncing that locally on the level where the youth experience gun violence, and then more broader, sort of globally, where these arms are used for militarizing the border.
Plan Mérida is how the U.S. exports arms and military training to Mexico. And it was originally signed in 2006 as a 3-year program, but it continues to function to this day. Plan Mérida is a military aid package and also a border security cooperation agreement between Mexico and the United States.
There's more conflict in Central America and Mexico instead of less. And so all families who have folks who are still there or who ever try to go through Mexico or Central America are also impacted. You know, the idea of security is supposedly positive, but security has ended up meaning more weapons and more ability to kill, and that's not security.
This is the second year that 67 Sueños youth have attended the SOA Watch Encuentro. It's important that they learn to reframe their stories from a place of fear to a place of resistance, and attending this Encuentro is one of those affirmations that, you know, they're not going to be silenced and they're not going to be intimidated.
We're outside Eloy Detention Center. We're here with SOA Watch and a whole bunch of other organizations.
We're here to give them support and to show them, you know, that they are, like, their lives are valuable, because when they're put into these cages, it's like the U.S. doesn't even view their lives as, like, they're not even seen as humans. So we're here to show them that they are and we care about them.
Behind these walls, behind these fences, behind these gates, they're being denied that. They're being denied that. All they want is to be reunited with the families, right? Right in there are our fathers, our mothers, our siblings, tíos, tías, and yet they're being separated from me because of our legal status.
To be honest, I feel hella sad for the people in there because you can just see them waving their hands, trying to communicate with us and responding to us. And also mad because the police patrolling the people here. You just want to cuss them out and say something in response to them.
Deportation! No borders, no nation!
Stop the deportation!
When they wave, and even just like looking out the window and flashing their like windows, like it's a form of resistance, because even though those people are locked up in there, that doesn't stop them from resisting. So I don't know, that just makes me proud.
So this poem is called Fear Within Families. Beaner, mojado, illegal. I'm sure everyone in the documentary community do not go a day without thinking they will be next. Next to be deported. Next to be abused. Next to be assaulted. Next to be separated from their loved ones.
I have witnessed firsthand the impacts due to militarization of our land, of our just impacts emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
Yo he sufrido y he sido testiga a toda la militarización de la frontera.
Let's have this moment of silence for those hearts and spirits that have been killed for living.
The United States and Mexico agreed to militarize the southern border, the border between Mexico, Guatemala, and Belize. And what this ultimately means is that it's going to be a lot harder for Central Americans to come into Mexico, and then for later on to come into the United States. A lot of people are going to be forced to take more dangerous routes to get here, and a lot more life is going to be lost.
Many migrants who are fleeing terrible situations in Central America, in El Salvador, in Honduras, in Guatemala, looked for other routes because they couldn't stay where they were. And if they went on the main routes, then they would be detained and they would be deported by Mexican forces with U.S. support, with U.S. technology, with U.S. training. So instead, they started to use more rural routes and places that were less traversed, but they were more controlled by organized crime.
I think expanding our work beyond borders is key to really understanding the deeper complexities around immigration and migrant justice. I think that it would be a disservice to us to support young people who are in Oakland but then not acknowledge the violence and the nightmares that family members that they have are going through in Mexico. And so by being more aware and by expanding our political analysis to include the struggles of folks outside of the US is critical, because that way, again, we are able to look at the bigger picture and be able to understand what is the best course of action. But at the other end, it's also just as important to be advocating for safety and for the well-being of migrants or Mexicanos who are in Mexico.